Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Miss Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread. Once again, no actual face cam working because of lighting issues. Going to be getting that fixed, hopefully pretty quick. In the meantime, bear with me. You have a great picture of me. It's a wonderful photo of me. Yes, it is. Let me ask you: were you expecting the Star Wars Outlaws creative director to pipe up and defend how their main character in this game looks? Well, let's get into this. We're doing a reaction to a video by Vera Dark of Dark Titan Media, which she called Star Wars Outlaws creative director says modern protagonists are what people want. What a disaster. Let's see what she's got to say about this.
Star Wars Outlaws has been getting absolutely wrecked by gamers over its fugly lead character, $130 Ultimate Edition, and it doesn't seem like that backlash is going to stop anytime soon because now we have the Outlaws creative director explaining why he thinks Kay Vess is a much more modern protagonist. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, whenever I hear the word modern, instant red flags because obviously, yes, things evolve, things progress as time goes on. But if that's all you have to offer and show for your product, that it's a modern product, it's not going to sell. People
I
want the
agree.
same kind of content in entertainment that they wanted 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and that's not a problem. But of course, creatives in the industry, whether it's Hollywood or video games, they think that they need to make something for a modern audience, which of course doesn't really exist. And the closest group of people we have to that are sensitive snowflakes on social
And
media.
activists.
And
Yep.
Star Wars Outlaws has already faced a ton of scrutiny for several things, including Kay Vess, the lead character's design. They
It seems to me that the modern snowflakes online on Twitter and stuff, as she puts it, um, you know, people who are overly sensitive and want to be victims on everything and cry about everything online. And, um, that's great. Listening to those people is great, but those people are not a majority. They're not a majority of a gaming company's fan base. They're a minority. And furthermore, when you're reacting to these people online or looking at their online presence and thinking, oh my God, we've got to appeal to these people because they're so out there, there must be so many of them. But how many of them are propped up, some of their opinions, by bots? How many of them are just fake accounts, not real people, trolling people? It's really hard even to get an idea of what the numbers are because whatever the numbers show, for those amount of people, it's far less. So it's you're listening to a fringe minority and changing your games to accommodate them. But these people will my thought, anyways, is these people will complain about anything. They'll complain about not being represented in gaming. They'll complain about not being represented in politics. They'll complain about not being represented. Not enough bus drivers are like them. Not enough nurses are like them. Not enough pastors of churches are like them. Not, like it's like when I buy hockey cards here in Canada, like we're not represented enough in hockey players in hockey cards. We're not represented enough in the images you see on cereal boxes. Okay, so they're about getting represented in all of society, and they're not necessarily gamers. They're not necessarily people who are buying games. You're listening to those people and changing your games to be more accessible. I'm using air quotes. I know you can't see it. Accessible to those people, or to have those people feel like there's more in common in your game that they can relate to. They're not even necessarily buying the game. So is that our smart choice to make?
had an absolutely beautiful actress that this character was modeled after, and they completely butchered her
Yep.
when they put her into the game. And now we have this creative director talking about why he views Kves as a modern protagonist. The same spiel we heard about.
Look at this. Look at this photo. It's terrible. This is a terrible looking human being. If that's what they're supposed to be representing, certainly not representing a woman.
Rey Skywalker, Palpatine, whoever she wants to be, for example. This is
Terrible.
a That Park Place article. It says Star Wars Outlaws creative director Julian Grady shared why he describes the game's protagonist as a much more modern protagonist. Speaking with Game Informer, of course, shill outlet, first shared his assertion, I think she's a much more modern protagonist than we usually see in games. He then explained she's somebody who is very much a street thief who gets thrown into things that are beyond her control, and that she kind of has to think her way out of, and that makes it a little bit more relatable than somebody who has all of the confidence and sarcasm and just comes across as somebody who is not believable.
Wait, you're saying that she's made modern because she's a street thief thrown into things beyond her control and she has to think her way out of it? Excuse me? That's like 80% of fucking games do that. That's not being modern. That's something that's always been in gaming. Hey, let's make a game, and in it our character will be kind of like just a street thief, kind of growing up on the hard streets, and then she'll get thrown into something that's beyond her control. She's gonna have to think her way how to get through it. But that's what all games do, and all games have done since games have existed. That's not explaining why they're modern. That's a fucking stupid explanation of modern protagonist. People, are you not seeing this? This person is saying that she is modern. I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see me. I'm pointing at the screen as I read this. He's saying she's more modern than we usually see in games because she's exactly like every other gaming character ever created, basically. These people clearly have no clue how to think rational thoughts. Any idiot can look at those two paragraphs, those couple of sentences, and go, what the fuck are you saying? Like, come on. I'm not giving them a pat in the back for creating a modern character. I'm gonna take away the pat in the back and kick them in the ass and tell them you created the same effing character everybody else created. Only you made her ugly.
So having her be relatable in that way was something extremely important for us. Now, yes, as human beings, we are often thrown into situations that we don't feel comfortable in, that we have to kind of think ourselves a way out of. And yeah, sure, that's relatable, but at the same time, bounty hunting and smuggling and, going around the galaxy in this massive ship, those are not relatable things, right?
Sure.
So by saying she's a modern protagonist simply because she's relatable is quite absurd, seeing as there are plenty of characters in entertainment that are on a surface level not relatable at all.
And you could even say that Han Solo was the same way, but they're clearly pointing out it doesn't have all the confidence and sarcasm. Comes across as somebody not believable. That's them pointing fingers at Han Solo, who she was clearly based on. They're just saying, yeah, she doesn't have the same flavor, the same little sarcasm and quips and the confidence he exudes. Yes, but go back and look at, if you want to, I'm not saying you have to, you go back and look at the Solo movie as a, for instance, and you can see that he came from like living on the streets and trying to hustle, get small jobs, try to build his way up to something else. He was not always the guy we see in Star Wars: A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, in The Last Jedi, with a cocky smile and the confidence. That's an air Han Solo puts on, but you didn't always have that. You had to grow into that. So Kay Vess here, or whatever her name is no different in that sense. But yet he's trying to say she's not like Han Solo because she is not confident and sarcastic. That makes her modern. No, it fucking doesn't. We're not stupid
whatsoever, because they do these insane things, or they're the heroes of the story, or they're the villains of a story. What you need to be able to relate to is, their courage, their bravery, their sensitiveness, all of these different things that make a human tick. And that isn't any different than it has been in storytelling since the beginning of forever, basically.
Thank
right?
you.
Even if you look back at
That's
Greek mythology, we're talking about figures who are, humans at their core. They do things like they sing when they fall in love. And if you look at Arthurian mythology, we have these, great grand stories of love and betrayal and strength. We're not talking about anything here that could be viewed as modern. This is not any different than how storytelling has been. This to me genuinely comes across as this individual, this creative director saying, of course, our product is really good. Why is our product really good? Because it's different. But then they don't explain anything at all different. That is different about Kay Vess.
What I was just saying.
Her unique. He's not giving.
I'd just like to point out that Vera Dark and I are on the same page here, and I did not watch this video prior. I have not seen this video prior. I just trusted her from seeing other of her videos. And as you can see, I just subscribed to her now, too. So I wasn't even a subscriber previous to this. I've only seen 2 others of her videos before. But yeah, she's talking the exact same things I was saying here.
Us any information on why we should like her, what drives her in her life. And maybe it's just because they don't want to reveal too many details already.
More likely they don't have anything about her that we can actually get behind.
Who she really is. But at the same time, if you're going to come out and you're going to do interviews, you should probably give people information that is really going to draw them in. Like right now, Star Wars Outlaws is facing massive scrutiny on social media, and if you're going to go into interviews, you should be giving us really solid information, and
not fluff and lies, which is what I see here so far. Fluff and lies.
You should be trying to convince us what you think about this game so far is totally valid, but I'm gonna make you excited about this game and rethink your stance on this game. But these people, they're not marketers, and they most certainly don't know how to actually get people excited for their product.
Oh, Vera, your hair is really orange. Like, I like the color. It's neat. Clearly, it's not your natural color. It's a very nice color on you, though. It's very orange. Wow.
He also previously told Edge magazine that his team intentionally tried to make the character more relatable by having her be a rookie.
Should have made her a Wookiee. At least then we would have to look at the ugly face. Have hair all over it, at least. Surprised they didn't give her a 5 o'clock shadow, to be honest. Maybe that's in the game. Maybe that's in the DLC. You'll find she's got a 5 o'clock shadow. She's a shave every day. Got like both sex organs or something. Like, wouldn't surprise me at this point.
He explained that the team wanted her to be a little bit more relatable, so they made her more of a rookie, a petty thief who ends up in a situation that's much bigger than they ever expected.
Look at this. Here she's sitting in a bar or a casino, probably a bar, playing cards with a cocky smile on her face. But they said she wasn't all sarcastic and stuff, and she wasn't all like in control. She's in way over her head and just a rookie, and she's not at all like that Han Solo guy, which they said without saying. Yet here she is, clearly playing the exact role that a young Han Solo could and would play, should play. Hmm. See, this picture doesn't even fit with what they were saying about the character. It tells the exact opposite story, the still picture. That's interesting. She's giving off a confident, cocky vibe, and she's very much mimicking Han Solo. Very much. The exact things they said she wasn't. Is Ubisoft telling the truth? Pictures are lying? Or is Ubisoft lying to the fan base, trying to get more people to buy the game? It's overpriced, uglified game. Discuss down below, people. Jump into the conversation as always.
I mean, again, sure, you can say this, but the things that she's doing are in no way, shape, or form relatable. So they're throwing this word around like it means something when they're describing something that isn't the same at all whatsoever. And of course, while everyone's talking about Star Wars Outlaws and the way that the lead character K-Vess looks, the game's associate art director had also confirmed the company and its employees spent a significant amount of time designing the character, especially her look. We put a lot of care into her design and what she's wearing and how looks tell a story. She has a lot of elements in her design that tell a bit of her story, which is actually funny given so many people have hated the way that she looks. I wouldn't say her outfit is the worst. It, in my opinion, just kind of looks very bland. But looking at her face and her physical character design, it most certainly has not been something people have been happy with, especially when you compare it to the beautiful actress that she is modeled after. And of course, these are not the only problems with Outlaws, right? It has faced backlash over its absurd release pricing, the protagonist's in-game model looking worse than the real-life actress. I mean, we are talking about a plethora of problems here, but at the end of the day, when you have creative directors coming out and talking about their product, they should be trying to get people more hyped for their release, and instead, by doing this, calling her a modern protagonist, which of course means absolutely nothing given storytelling now is the same as it literally has always been, they are finding ways to even surprise me and all of you by disappointing us even more. It really seems like the people working on Outlaws are the most dispassionate game developers you could find, who are coming out and thinking these are ways to get people hyped when realistically they're not. They're really only giving us more ammunition to talk negatively about this game. Because again, whenever we hear the term modern, the instant red flags go up, and it will be interesting to see over the next few weeks and few months what else is said about Star Wars Outlaws, and ultimately when it releases, if it ends up being half decent, but I wouldn't expect much better than that.
All right. So once again, this original video will be linked down below. My name is Dread. This is Miss Valley Entertainment News. I don't have anything more to say about this I haven't already said during the video, and that Vera has not gone over. And again, Vera and I are thinking exactly the same. We're seeing all the red flags. We're seeing all the doublespeak. We're seeing them say one thing, and then the game presents something else entirely. Or we're seeing them say one thing, explain it, but their explanation doesn't make sense with what they just said at all. It's completely, they're just lying and beating around the bush is what they're doing. They have a company with absolutely no clue what a gamer wants or what a game should be at this point. This is what happens when your company gets so big, it's owned by big corporations, and special interest groups run what you do. This is what happens. We get shit. We get absolute shit. And I was initially excited for this game, but now I really honestly think it's going to be shit, and I'm hoping nobody buys it. Because we don't need more of this. Unfortunately, we'll still get more of this, but maybe we can eventually get this to die off and we stop buying these games. Everybody, for Miss Valley Entertainment News, my name is Dread. Thank you for your time. Drop down into the comments. Let me know what you think. Ta-ta.